and stuff, people can still go and see it. Even
Yeah,
after. Yeah. Okay. So either
yeah.
way, I'll just share it live after it's all
Yeah,
done.
if you want your people to interact now, then that's when you share it.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So I believe we're live. We're gonna go on my page. I
Okay.
will tag you. And yeah, here we are. And we'll make this public. Here we go.
My eyes are watery today.
Well, we can't, why?
I don't know. I think it's just like being inside so long and like just coming out into the actual sun. It's like, oh my god, the sun.
Are you inside that much?
Yeah. Well, I'm used to being inside a lot because like if I'm painting, I'm
Right?
usually inside unless it's nice enough to put the stuff out on the porch and you know do my thing.
Well, you got to get outside. I wish whenever I host, I have to host from my computer. So I'm in my guest room now. But I
Yeah.
wanted usually when I guest, like tonight I'm going to be a guest on another show. I walk around. So I was going to say, if you spend time in a garden, you get outside every day. Every day I'm in the garden lately.
I'm in the garden right now.
Oh, so nice. All right, it's already up. You're going to share your page, and let's start. Here we go. So it is Wednesday. I've been up for only a few hours, and I slept for 12 hours.
Did you really?
Yeah, I went to sleep at like 9:40, and I slept for 12 hours. It's like a normal thing for me after leg day and like
I have
stress.
to have assistance to like even sleep 6 hours. Like I need to take something, or else like my brain is just all the time.
Oh no, me too. My brain. I woke up after 6 hours, and then I'm like, let's sleep more because I want to feel good with you. Otherwise, I'll be like tired with you, and I'll act like someone who's like a Wall Street worker, and I'll be like really serious.
Right.
It does. Anyway, all right. So we have 6 people here. Hi, Michael. Hello. Oh, thank you. The queen of positivity. I don't know. You should ask. You should ask some people that see me all the time. I'm not that positive. So here we are with. I'm going to let you introduce yourself because you know you better than me. A great painter. I love all of your work. This is someone whose work I love everything. So what do you do? Tell us.
Well, my name is Elise Mcilwain. I'm an international street artist. I'm a painter, muralist, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Oh, I also have a clothing line. I'm actually wearing one of my T-shirts right now. You can kind of see.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't. Oh, I knew that a little bit. Are you doing tank tops at all? Anything
I
without?
am. You know what's so funny about the clothing line? Like everyone knew me for the clothing line first, and then like I started posting more and more of my artwork, and then that kind of took off to the point where I was only doing like mass production things for my clothing line and just selling stuff off my website because I was getting so much work in for doing the art that I didn't have time to really promote the clothing as much as I wanted to, just because I'm pretty much doing everything myself. And now I was actually just about to do a whole big relaunch of the clothing line with all the new stuff and like hats and yoga pants and all kinds of other crazy stuff. But then the pandemic happened, so I was like, let me just hold off for a little bit before I do the whole big relaunch, make sure everything's back to normal, and then I'll do it.
That's like the new, but then I got high. But then the pandemic happened. It's like, oh yeah, let's do this, but then I got high. But then I got high. But then the pandemic happened. Pandemic happens. It's like it's a good excuse if you want to be lazy. Like I really wanted to be lazy the day before this happened. I've said this so many times, so people that pay attention. The day before, I was looking at a post that said, I want a 2-week earth break. And I was in a parking lot for 1 to 3 minutes by myself, like an 80s movie, just give me a 1 to 2 week earth break. I wanted everything to pause so then I wouldn't be behind. And then the next day, it was either the next day or the day after that, this happened.
Be careful what you wish for.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time. I can whatever I want, honestly, in the last 2 years. Anyway, so I'm not surprised that your painting took off more than the clothing line because your murals are ridiculous and people can make clothing, but very few people can do the mural work that you're doing.
Well, the funny thing is the clothing line was doing really, really well too. I was selling a lot, especially overseas. So I never really stopped doing that. I just like the amount of time that I had to do promotion of it just kind of fell off a little bit until because I was like secretly working on new items to do, but I wasn't really posting about it. Like if people were really paying attention, they could see me wearing new stuff in the pictures where I was like posing next to my murals and stuff. So I was keeping it in there a little bit, just leaving like little Easter eggs.
I saw
little Easter eggs, but just everything kind of just blew up with the art so much that I was like, okay, I have to kind of reorganize and get everything back together, which I finally did right before the pandemic. So
That's cool. And I saw there was like some beautiful girl you had on a shirt. There was some really pretty girl. That's the last thing I saw on a t-shirt. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, I always wonder who your muses are. So I'm just going to jump past all the questions I had and just, who are these women in all of your paintings? Who are these beautiful?
They're mostly my friends.
Your friends.
Well, I would say 70% of them are my friends.
Okay.
So
and your enemies?
Huh?
And the rest?
No. The other 30% are just random people that I find on social media, or
right.
I find a lot of people on Pinterest actually. And sometimes I'll just be just people that I'm following on social media, and they'll post something. I'm like, ooh, I want to paint that. So it's kind of just kind of a feeling, if I see something that one of my friends did that popped up that I really like, I'll paint that. Or a lot of times I would just go out and get certain people and then just do photo shoots to get the photo reference for it, and then I would go and paint the stuff afterwards.
How do you find them on Pinterest? Why is it Pinterest and not Facebook or Instagram or Tinder?
I think it's just the way Pinterest's algorithm is set up.
Okay.
Like if you search for a couple of things, and it gives you like a bunch of suggestions of other things that are kind of the same or in that same vein that you might like. So once you start choosing a certain amount of things, like it'll start giving you stuff that, oh, I think you might like this thing. So you don't even have to, you just like scroll a little bit like, ooh, that's one.
So men and women, if you're watching and you want to be in his artwork, forget Instagram and Facebook. Go on Pinterest and put your face and your body on Pinterest, and maybe he'll like you.
Or you can just slide into my DMs. I get that all the time. People are just like, paint me like one of your French girls. I get that like, at least a couple times a week.
Do you mind that if people were to ask you?
No, not at all.
I see artists, and I've never asked. I actually have I might have a painting in my mailbox now, because I woke up the other day and an artist on Instagram who I've never met said, I painted you 24 by 36. And he said, I'm sending you the painting. Where can I send it? So I might have that today or tomorrow, but I've seen his work and it's amazing. And I think we conversated about health and the pandemic, and I complimented his art, but I just would never ask somebody to paint me. Like, no.
Yeah, no, I get it all the time, actually.
And you're okay with it? You're not like...
What's so funny? I actually just, someone just hit me up about it the other day, and they were like, I would really love it if you painted me. And so I clicked on the pictures, and I was like, oh, wow, okay. So, occasionally you get a surprise.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're an interesting look, you have to be aware. If you're not totally ignorant, you're going to be aware that you're interesting. So why not suggest it yourself, right?
Why not? And I think people just like getting portraits, period. So, even if it's not something that I'm just going to do on my free time, like you can always hit me up for commissions and stuff too. So I never turn anyone down. Anyone
watching, all of his work is good. So this is someone I recommend. I don't recommend a lot of people. So I'm going to go with some questions. All right.
Okay.
So we know what you do. We know you do murals. We know you do the clothing. You're going to come back up after this pandemic is over, but you don't have to wait till the pandemic's over to up the clothing line again, right? You don't have to wait for that.
No, I really don't have to. I'm just not, I know for the most part that when people get new clothes, they want to like wear it while they're out. So that's kind of the thought process behind it. So, and especially at this point where a lot of people are running a little bit low on money, things like new clothes, it's not something that you really buy when you're, saving pennies for, whatever might pop up. So that was just the train of thought behind it. It's not like I can't launch it right now. It's just more the fact that I was thinking about the situation and thought that it might be a little bit better once things just start reopening a little bit. Once things get back to normal a little bit, then I can hit people like, hey, this is what I was working on while, we were all stuck in Corona jail. So
do you have a huge list of things that you could do now and what you're going to do the second this is done? Because I have 5 or 6 films. I'm actually scared. I'm actually anxious every day because I'm afraid that everyone's going to ask me to shoot like the same week, and then I'm going to just be crazy. Right. But there's a huge queue list, and I don't know. I'm very scared. I'm scared it's all going to hit the same time. So do you have that? A huge queue?
No, I think it's funny because today, like right after we finish our interview, this is probably going to be this is going to be the second day since everything started that I've actually left my block, and I'm going out to do a mural. Wow. So like I'm going to the park, and I'm going to paint some stuff. It was one of those things where like I helped to take care of my grandma, and she's 92 or 93 years old. And so I was just like, I'm not taking any chances. I'm just going to keep a low profile until, things settle down at least a little bit.
Right.
So, I'm making my second trip out today, but I was just going a little bit too stir crazy. I was like, I can go to the park and just like keep distance from people and do some cool artwork. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm really excited. Like I started bouncing up and down like today, like it was Christmas when I woke up this morning. I was so excited. I was just like,
nice. Okay, so I'm gonna jump right to that. So the excitement. It seems like every time I interact with you and every time I see your posts, and of course we know that social media is a lie. Like, I mean, at least mine is not 100% me. I keep a lot close to that. So the excitement you had today, how do you keep that excitement going for your art, your life, the positivity, the positive mindset, the ability to also not be lashing out and posting things like, oh, this person didn't pay me for my mural, or, because in the art business, there's a lot of riffraff and there's a lot of BS that goes around. So how do you keep that light and the positivity? Because you have a lot of it.
Well, it's one of those things where I feel like one of the best things to do is you kind of have to keep a regiment. Like you have to kind of plan things out and say, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this today, because, especially like for an artist where like a lot of things that you do are based on emotion. For me, like I'm used to being at home for long periods of time working on things, but I always had the release afterwards where, I would go and stay in my cave for a while. And then I would go out and just be really social because I really am an extrovert. Like I like being around people. I like hugging people. So, it's in order to keep from kind of getting bummed out and depressed from not being able to just like see and hug and talk to people. I've just been trying to keep myself really, really busy and really productive. So I think what really helps is keeping like a schedule, or it doesn't even have to be something so rigid, but like you kind of have to force yourself. And okay, like I said, I was going to do this today. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to let it get to me. And I think that's the most important part of it. And like, especially when you're doing things like creating, and when you're exercising, and like, those endorphins getting pumping, and, like you start to feel better about things. So just staying active and, keeping like a regimen, it really helps to keep you from getting bummed out and depressed during this whole thing.
Do you keep a written schedule? Like you saw the schedule I sent you. I sent you a little snippet of my schedule where it's underlined, bolded, color coded, everything's organized, and that keeps me in line. So even if I woke up like today, I woke up and I was like, I'm not really feeling the right way. There's a lot of stuff I could be upset about and pissed off about today. I really can. But I have a lot of things that are exciting too. So I'm really focusing on that. And do you keep that regimen written down, or is it just all up here?
I more just keep notes on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the best way, because if I see it, and sometimes I'll send myself little reminders when I wake up in the morning, because if I see it, like it's like a visual trigger. I'm like, okay, I do have to do this thing. But luckily, honestly, I've been so busy during this whole thing, even outside of the things that I planned for myself, that I didn't have to do much. Like I had 2 huge projects that I had to get finished while I was at home. So that kind of kept me busy for a while. This one project was like 4 panels that I had to do like a mural for, and the mural was like telling the story of this guy's life up to the point where he like founds these businesses, and he runs this company that like does mentorship and like business building. So I literally did this entire wow. Every once in a while, there's like a huge truck carrying like 15 cars. It just rolls down the street and it's like noisy for no reason. Like the regular cars are fine, but like the huge trucks, I live on like the intersection of like 2 big highways. So every once in a while you get like this big truck going down the street. But
I'm gonna interject just to give a funny quick little story. I had a boyfriend years ago, and he told me that his family was closely working with Pablo Escobar, and you said all those the trucks loaded up. So what they did was they loaded up trucks with cocaine to the windows. And whenever I see all these trucks being transported, I think of the family business in the 80s or so that just loaded up cars with cocaine and shipped them out. And I'm like, what's in those cars? Like,
well,
because it happens,
I mean, I'm sure it does, especially if those cars have like limo tint on the windows. You can't do shit inside.
But back to you, that organization you mentioned, I looked up. What is it? The Unique Individuals Foundation? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that is it.
What that sounds really.
I'm sorry. It's Uncommon Individuals Foundation.
Uncommon. Yeah. Okay. What is that? I went to their Instagram. I was like, this sounds interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So they do mentorship. They do it's like business building. All kinds of different mentorship in different fields. So that's basically what it is. They do a lot of really good work, and so I was working on that one piece for like a million years. And if everyone who knows me knows that, like, when I get an art project and stuff in, I'm done pretty quickly because I paint fast. But that
Yeah.
thing took forever.
What is forever for you as an artist?
Well, I think it was partially because I was having sometimes when I get commissions and it's not when I want to paint at that moment, it takes a little bit longer for me to get my stuff together to actually work on it and do it, because I'm just like, I want to, paint splatters on something, or I want to paint like a woman's face doing this. And so I think it took me like 3 weeks to finish it. I was working on it for a while, but it was so highly detailed that it was literally like I did 20 paintings inside one painting. So that's part of the reason why it took so long, because I was painting these really, really detailed people, and then I had to like hand paint people's logos, and then I had to hand paint a Monopoly board with all these different things and buildings and all. And I was just like, oh my God, this thing is taking forever, because it's like 20 paintings that I'm doing in this one thing.
Wow.
But like I'm doing a mural today. That's going to be spray paint. I'll probably knock that out in like 5 hours. So that's just the.
I know you're fast.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 weeks, but here, I'll show you. So usually I do things in my living room. I like my living room, my kitchen, but for the first time ever, I'm doing a video in my guest room, because this is my art room, because I actually went to school and as psychology and studio art. So this is my last painting I think I ever did over a decade ago. It's unfinished.
You learn something new every day.
20 hours. So that's my dad. And I did it like,
awesome.
Yeah, it's like anime style. So very similar. And then this is my mom.
That's really nice.
And it's supposed to be like the moon on one side. So like what you said, like different paintings within a painting. A moon, and then we got her in the ocean dreaming. And then I think the perspective's all off. This was going to be the ocean falling into the floor, and there's going to be fish. Right. So yeah, I figured, I'm like, all right, let's keep it with art today. We'll have some of my art stuff. But here we go. All right.
Finish it?
No, this is it was 4:20, and I had to do the artwork, and I would fail my art class. My boyfriend said, listen, you better do your art project. It's due in a couple of days. So I went to the studio. I was there by myself for like 22 hours, and I just knocked this out, and I guess I passed the class. I think I was like 20, maybe. I don't know. I was in college at American University, and that's it. But now I build bodies. I'm working on a leukemia plan right now. That's my artwork now, building cells. Right. So this is very, very mediocre and not all right. This is like, that's why it's in my guest room. So I wanted to ask my next question for you. When you do, like, I think we all will do mediocre work at some time. Like I'll do something, I'll be like, yeah, that was not good. That's garbage. That was mediocre. What do you do when that happens? You go back and fix it. You just, it's mediocre. I'm going to keep it. Like what goes through your mind when you do something like, yeah, that was not up to par?
I think what usually happens is, as I'm getting older and better, I think somewhere down the line, I'll look at certain things and I'll be like, I wish I would have done this to it. So a lot of times I'll just go and either like I'll paint over it, or I'll just go and fix it. But it usually happens a little bit later down the road, because usually like when I'm in the moment and I finish something, I'm like, I feel it's good to finish that, and then I'll move on to the next thing. So a lot of times I don't notice things that I can change about certain things until I have time to just sit back. I'll just grab my phone sometimes when I'm bored, and I'll just look through and scroll through in some of my pieces, and I'll kind of like critique myself of what I wanted to do and what I should have done.
Right.
So I just like when I get the time, I just go back and fix it at a certain point. I don't try to like overthink it, because I feel like as artists, I think we're always like hypercritical of ourselves and what we do and what we want to change. So I try not to get stuck in that. I just try to see areas where I can improve and fix it when I can.
If we're good artists, I think the good ones are perfectionistic, but I'm not going to name names, but I've worked with so many people in the art world as producers that they just throw up garbage, and it's like almost like they just throw up a bunch of shit on the wall and see what sticks. And it's the worst work ever. And they're like, they think it's great, and they go and promote it. I'm sure you see it, just people just nonstop doing shows and movies and TV shows and cartoons and whatever. It's horrible. And they keep on putting it out there, and they're okay with it, I guess. They're proud of it.
I mean, I guess different people have. Well, taste is such a, very subjective thing. You know what I mean? So something that might be horrible to one person is like great to somebody else. That's why I always tell people, like, even if you don't like your art, put it out there, because sometimes like you can be giving some kind of inspiration to somebody else who might see it and be like, oh, I really like this. Maybe this inspires me to do one thing. So,
Yeah.
and I think sometimes that it's important to post stuff either way so you can see the growth and progress, so other people can see your growth and progress. Not every,
Yeah.
there have been times where I posted stuff that I didn't necessarily like, and other people were like, "Oh, I really love this." And I'm like, "Oh, glad you love it."
Right.
You know what I mean? So
What?
there are different
Yeah.
ways to look at things. I guess I do understand. I do know exactly what you're saying, but I don't know. Things are so different for different people. Everything's so subjective that I try not to kind of look down at certain things. But I do know exactly what you're talking about, though.
You know what it is? I mean, I was doing an analogy with film production, and when it comes to painting and drawing, sure, I guess there's good and bad, but I think it's easier for people to appreciate paintings that I might think is garbage and someone else thinks is a masterpiece that's worth $20,000. But when it comes to film, if your sound is bad, your sound is bad. If your acting is bad, like
film's a little different. Like when you have bad CGI in your movies and stuff, it's very noticeable. So it's like,
I mean, I'm making bad movies, and it's just there's no way that anyone thinks this stuff is good. Yeah, Frankie, it's all about self-awareness. Yeah, there's a lack of self-awareness out there in the film community that is, to me, it's hilarious. I'm actually obsessed with film producers and artists that are not self-aware and they put stuff out there. It's actually one of my favorite things to watch. It's actually a hobby of mine. So that's a whole nother topic, though.
Yeah.
But what's up, Alex Kennedy? So my other question for you, or my last, was you have these art goals, and I'd like to know what your lifetime goals are for art or just for your life. Because we all have our purposes or missions in life. Maybe we don't. Some people don't. So I'd like to know your lifetime goals and then your 5-year goals, what you'd like to accomplish before you die and in the next 5 years.
What's really interesting is that a lot of times, people set like New Year's resolutions and things like that. And, they want to do the things, but life happens, and then you kind of slack off and they don't happen. But what I tend to do is
like Year's resolutions and things like that.
I'm hearing some kind of crazy feedback.
They want to do the things, but
it's weird. I was hearing like an echo thing.
Yeah, I know. We're done. We're fixed it.
Okay, it went away. No, but what I was saying is like what I usually do is like I set a list of goals at the beginning of the year, and then I just I just do it. What a kid feed you. You don't know how many grandmas are watching or how many little kids.
I don't care. If a grandma has done her entire life and they're still perturbed by the fuck word, go by. Goodbye.
But I'm trying to think of what to talk about first, because one of the things that I wanted to do and I was setting out to do within the next 5 years is that I wanted to paint a mural in every state in the U.S. and at least one on every continent. So far I have, do I have 4 continents down? I think I have 4 down. So I did Asia, I did Europe, I did North America, and I did Africa. Yeah, I have 4 down. So I'm not super worried about Antarctica. Like maybe if I get like super rich, I'll just ship like a installation, just sit it in the middle of Antarctica. Just say
you don't want to go to Antarctica and sunbathe? You don't want to sunbathe in Antarctica?
I don't know. Maybe in the summer when it's like peak summer where it's like, not so bad there. I might go and enjoy it a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. But definitely have to hit up Australia and South America, and I already have a connect in Australia. So my friend Steph, who runs this organization called Splatters, like street art journalism, she's trying to help me find some stuff out there. So that's coming. So that's a part of the 5-year plan. And also merchandising wise, I just want I want my brand to be like a global brand. I want to do everything. I want to do coffee table books, coloring books. I already actually have a coloring book out, putting out some coffee table books this year, doing like umbrellas, socks, t-shirts, hats, hoodies, like
umbrellas, beach towels,
everything. So that's the plan. I want to really expand the brand, and once I get to a certain level where I'm really making money and I can do what I can to give back, like there's a lot of charity work that I want to do. I do a lot of charity stuff now. I usually, during the course of the year, probably do 10 or 12 different charity programs where either painting live or donating or doing something for some organization raising funds. So that's definitely definitely a plan. I really want to fight homelessness, and there's some ideas that I have as far as building up school curriculums. As far as
I was just going to ask you that. I'm like, I think you'd be a good teacher. I was just going to ask that.
Thank you. But one of the things that I always thought was something that we needed in the classroom. For me, it was really good growing up because I went to Front Select here in Philly, and it was a private Quaker school, and just as far as the values, they really opened me up to different cultures from a really young age. So by the time I got older, I knew about different people and I wasn't culture shocked. Like I met people in college that literally were seeing and having their first actual conversation with a Black person for the first time in college.
Where were they from?
You know, different areas of Pennsylvania. You know, just there's just certain communities that you really just don't have. I mean, obviously, like if you're going to the store and stuff, you're going to see people, but I'm talking about actual genuine interactions as opposed to just like, hey, you know, what's up?
Yeah.
You know, that type of thing. So from a young age, like when I was in school, I was taught about different cultures. Like I learned about Hanukkah and like all these different things in second grade. Like I learned, they would take us on field trips and take us to different neighborhoods where we would be able to talk to people about their culture and learn. So once we got to a certain age, like we were familiar with other people's cultures and we could see the beauty in other people's cultures. So that changes your perspective on everything, as far as the way the world runs. So I think that's something that needs to be like a mandatory thing in schools. Like you shouldn't be learning about other people for the first time when you're going into college. That's just a ridiculous thing. So that's one of the things that I really wanted to try to implement. So I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of things that I want to do.
I love it. It's interesting. I was actually just having this conversation. I've had it a few times, but I think it was yesterday, about how if you don't know certain people, like I know a lot of people that have various types of addiction, and I have clients and friends with, and even myself, and then people that have had so many different health issues, myself and clients and friends and families, that I have an understanding on a cellular level and an empathy level, because I intricately have had relationships with people with, illnesses and addictions in different countries. And I lived in DC for 10 years. DC is very international. So I was in New York, surrounded by a lot of white and Jewish and Italian people, but then I left. And my boyfriend there was, his dad was from Nicaragua, didn't speak English. And my best friend spoke 5 languages and was Italian, Jordanian. So I got my culture, a lot of Middle Eastern friends, a lot of Saudi friends, Afghan friends, but it gets your understanding. So my point is, long-winded, is a lack of contact with these people. My point yesterday was it's going to breed a lack of understanding and a lack of empathy. And what I've noticed in my friends who are so fucking shelters is that they'll have some of them will have like a nastiness towards people that they don't understand. They didn't have these relationships with. And it's so important. Like I have friends of so many walks of life. I have friends that are in their 70s, 80s, 90s. I have friends in their 20s. There's something to be appreciated for everyone that has some type of mind. That's my rule. You have to have something going up here. I'm sorry. I can't do stupid. I can't. You can pay me. But yeah, the understanding and empathy, I think, comes from contact and relationships with different walks of life.
Oh, absolutely. It's so funny. I remember my first time going over to Morocco, and I painted a mural out there and did this whole thing with a festival. It was really, really amazing. And when I was over there, I was just thinking about what the perception is of like some of the people and stuff over there. And these were the most genuinely nice people I had ever met in my entire life. Like when I'm telling you that I was there with my family and we didn't have room in our suitcases to carry stuff back, they literally gave us their suitcases so that we would have room to take stuff back from it. Like I met this one family and they literally like brought me to their grandparents' house and cooked this huge meal, and so just the most genuinely nice people that I've ever met in my entire life. And like when I got back to the US, it was just bugging me about like the mindset that some people have about these people and just don't really understand what the culture is like, or and that comes from having the experience, and that's why I feel like that's so important.
So important. Yeah. I try to talk to everybody, anyone that will have some level of respect. All right, I can fuck with you. Like, respect.
Right.
That's the basis, foundation. Yeah, so no problem with that. All right, so and I think one of my final question is: so you have all these goals, which you have a lot, and so do I. We have so many. Does this interfere with your social life, your interpersonal relationships, maybe having a significant other or two, or insignificant other, as I jokingly call it? Because if these goals are important to you, having relationships, I know for me, it always digs in, and I know there's a few people, and I'm actually on this train of thought that believe that some of the greatest artists, scientists, the people that make history and really, maybe cure cancer or cure homelessness, can we do that? They
Suffer a little bit.
They wouldn't do these things if they had a live-in significant other they were hanging out with every day and going to dinner with at 10 p.m. every day, because they wouldn't be working. And I'm big on that. I think it's a horrible use of time to have this full-time relationship. For me, it has to be limited. So I don't know. I'm just curious what your thoughts on that.
Well, I mean, to a certain extent, it obviously it definitely does, especially if I'm doing these things, like I'm doing a mural tour and I have to travel all over the country and different countries, and sometimes you're not seeing people for a long period of time. So there definitely are times where that is something that has an effect. But honestly, sometimes the way I think about it is that, like, if you really, really find something that's special and you want it to work, you'll make it work. Like, as busy as you are sometimes, like, not to be crude or whatever, but if there are people that I want to talk to and I have no other time, like, I'll be on the toilet and I'll just text, So,
I did that
you find the time to do what you want to do. But obviously there are going to be some challenges to it if you're hustling, especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you're running a business, especially if you're doing things mostly by yourself. I know for me it's a struggle a lot of times because there's so much that I have to do and I don't feel like I have enough time. But a lot of times you make time for what you want to make time for. There are times where I do have things that I need to do, and if there's somebody that I want to see, I'll just kind of be like, I'll figure out how to get it done later, So I'll make it work enough.
If you want it bad enough, you'll find the time.
Right. I have this thing I just tell myself that I'll make it happen somehow, and I'll worry about how to figure out how to catch up on what I'm doing later. And a lot of times I'll put myself in a little bit of a bind, but I always get it done. So
okay. Well, you feel like that, because I definitely don't feel like that, and I feel the pressure. Like right now, I'm trying to cure leukemia. Like that's one of my main goals. My mom is just diagnosed, and the chemo treatment sounds barbaric, and she's very conventional. I'm very unorthodox, and like half my family is like, don't trust doctors, and the other half is do whatever. So that's one of the things I'm doing. It's just between the finding the leukemia cure. She was given a few weeks to a few months, and then the chemo prescription yesterday was horrific. I grew up calling my spirit animal is Ice Cube, and I've been listening to a lot of West Side Connection. And he goes, "Okay, Jen, after like 30 minutes listening to, and you can develop a liver problem, and you can die, and you can develop skin rashes, and the quality of life can go down after 30 days of this treatment." So she goes, "Jen, what do you think?" In front of the doctor on the phone. I go, "Yeah, I'd rather die than do this." I was like, I would absolutely 100% not do this. Like, I didn't say bullshit, but I could hear the doctor being like, So simply put, the goals of trying to fix leukemia through 3 weeks to 3 months, and do an entire masterclass series from 6 to 8 videos, 15 minutes. Like I physically don't have the time. So as much as I love to talk to some people, if I do that, I'm not going to do it. There's only so many hours in the day, so I have to ignore certain people, and some people have made themselves irrelevant, so they're going to stay irrelevant. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I think it's a situational thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you have the time and you want to make the time, you make the time. But if you really don't have the time,
I don't.
Yeah, so I think it's different for everyone. But it's so funny. Like, I have these conversations with some of my girlfriends and stuff about they're talking about guys who didn't call them, or they're wondering what happens, and I'm like, listen. The absolute gospel truth when it comes to guys is that if a guy really likes you, he will make time. Like, if a guy really likes you and you're on an island and he has no way to get over there, he's probably going to build a boat. That's what guys do. Like, it's
I agree. That's different. It's a parallel what we're talking about, but yeah, It's like that movie. He's just not that into you. If a guy's interested in you, even if he's busy, because a lot of the guys that I've been with in my 35 years, I guess I'm attracted to, or it's coincidence. They're so busy, usually running companies, and I love that. And it's like they really barely even have a few hours a week. I love that because they'll stay out of my life. But they'll still make an hour every week or a few hours for you. They'll really try. So
everyone has a few hours where they could just be like, because I mean, like you kind of have to have a few hours where you step back and just kind of relax a little bit, or else you'll probably drive yourself to a short grave. People like we need to have recovery time. So no, it's it's situational, but.
And actually, for artists, I will say that used to be my old rule. That was my rule for many years. A few people know this. My friend Jeff, who did the graphics for Fresh Screens, great artist. Whoa, he would joke with me like, he would send me the song. I think it's Part Time Lover, because I'd be like, I have 2 hours a week for you. That was my rule in like 2013. I was like, listen, I spent too much time. I got 2 hours, maybe 4, and then I switched it to like 20 hours. And then I switched it to like, all right, like 2 days. So now I'm at like kind of like 2 days. But I don't know. That's kind of a problem. But back to what you were saying, it's important to have that outlet, and also a sexual outlet. A class that I'm gonna go to tomorrow. There's Greg Jackson. He teaches a lot about Kundalini yoga. I don't know. Do you know about Kundalini energy and Kundalini?
Not really, but I can probably assess what it.
I'll sum it up. I'm not a yoga person. I'm more of a meathead than a yoga person by any means, but I know a little bit. So the Kundalini simply plays with different energy that can circulate up and down our spine, and it's believed to be in the root chakra and the lower part of the body. So the root chakra, sacral chakra. It's more believed. This is one mindset that I sort of buy into, sort of don't. I entertain it. I entertain everything. There's sexual energy, right? And you can cultivate it. We all have it. Some, I think, have more than others. So I think or at least for me, when I'm on fire and when I'm like really good at acting, creativity, and art, there's an energy, there's a certain vibe, and it seems to coincide. I seem to notice that the people that are really good at art, rapping, singing, writing, whatever, they seem to have a sexual vibe to them. It seems to be a parallel between a sexual energy and the creative energy. And you can even take that sexual energy and just use it for sex, or you can take that sexual energy and use that for ideas and painting. So I wonder,
because it's the passion that's coming off. That's what it is. It's pure. It's passion at its like purest form. You know, I like even when I'm painting, sometimes like it's like I described it to some of the people that I painted. I'm like, sometimes it's like a very intimate thing if I'm sitting here and I'm painting a person, because it's like if I'm doing it, it's not a commission and I'm doing it because I want to paint the person. I have to sit there and figure out what I find so beautiful about this person that I want to recreate it. So there's a lot of heart and passion behind doing something like that. So there are definitely some parallels there.
Yeah, and if you don't, there's some things that I've noticed can kill that, at least for me, like a lack of sleep, which is why I slept extra, because I'm like, I want to have fun today. I'm meeting with you. I'm being a guest on a radio show. I'm recording a radio show. I'm trying to, 2:30 to 3:34. I'm going to work on this cancer treatment. Look, I need everything to be working, hence sleep. So sleep helps with that energy, whether you want to call it passion or Kundalini energy, root chakra energy, manic energy. Titles for everything. Let's see. Is there anything you'd like to add? Because I know you probably have to go soon. It's been 38 minutes. Anything you'd like to talk about, or before we go?
Well, the last thing that I will talk about, give a little plug here. I've really been building up my YouTube channel lately. Kind of doing video blogs to show the whole process of doing and creating street art. And it's so funny. Like I slacked on YouTube for so long because I was focusing on the other 1,000 social media platforms. But now I'm actually taking the time to build up this YouTube channel. So I would just like, if people are interested in seeing and learning about street art and seeing the processes of having it be created, to check out my page, because I have lots of really cool stuff, and I'm going to shoot some stuff today for it, and I'm going to paint a brand new piece. So that's pretty much it, I guess.
Just don't say anything on YouTube that goes against the World Health Organization, the CDC, because you'll get kicked off, which I don't think you're going to.
Yeah.
I'll do that. I gladly will do that. I mean,
it's so funny. I was watching one of the kind of wrestling news channels, and they call the virus by completely, they like named it a completely different thing so that they didn't get hit by that thing. There's some kind of algorithm, whatever, like whenever you say the word, like it gets checked and it'll kind of so they never actually say the word on the channel, which is really interesting. So I'll probably have to do something similar so that I'm not even like I'll speak about the situation, but I won't directly,
Right. You can make like code words, like I do when I talk about certain people in public. We'll be like, oh, instead of calling him Michael, we're going to call him Stacy, which is actually true. And it's the real names I use, but there's a million Michaels, so no one's going to know which Michael I'm talking about. But it's always good to have some code words. And all right, so let's see. Is there anything I'd like to ask you? I guess that's pretty much it. So I'll let you go and we'll let you paint. Thanks for meeting with me and my painting.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, and I wanted to give a shout out to Vicissitude magazine and John, because if it wasn't for me writing and being in Vicissitude, I don't think we know each other, right?
Probably not. That's true. Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? I think that people that are supposed to meet will find a way to meet at some point either way, but I definitely give a shout out to John for that.
Yeah, and he's working hard. I know he's making a new issue. I'm going to write stuff for the issue.
He's a good dude. He's always hustling too.
Yes, and you guys have the same glasses. Is that like a Pennsylvania, Philadelphia type of thing?
It's just two cool guys, being cool. But it's so funny. Like a lot of people think that when I'm wearing sunglasses, I'm trying to be cool. And it's mostly because I literally cannot see.
That's usually why I wear glasses, but just to be cool, I figured I have my glasses stashed in this room, so I figured I'd just try to be cool like you.
That's a good look right there, wearing 20 glasses at once. Yeah,
because the more is better.
Yeah.
So I save all the glasses people give me for gag stuff. I have like a whole prop drawer. All right. Well, great speaking with you. And we will talk soon. And good luck in your painting. Keep up the positive vibes. Don't get the Rona. If you do get the Rona, I got an entire list. And we'll take care of you.
All right. Sounds good to me.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.